Hello, and welcome to Superbwoman Sundays at 7. I'm your host, Janet Neal, the founder and queen bee at the Superbwoman Incorporated. I am so glad that you've joined us tonight. I am so glad for you to meet our guest tonight. Gwenn Bogart is our guest, and she is a remarkable woman. You won't believe what she's done and what she continues to do. But before we get to Gwenn, let me tell you a little bit about the Superbwoman. I come from the belief that women have the power to change the world when we realize it. There are so many of us who are giving our power away or don't even realize that we have it. And when I'm talking about power, I'm not talking about corporate power or political power. I'm talking about personal power. I'm talking about that ability to connect with that internal energy that you have, that being that you have that is so amazing. I think you could probably think of a number of women that are doing amazing things. Think of someone like an Oprah who has changed the world because she has become comfortable in her own skin. She has connected to her being. And there are so many women out there that are doing that. And all of us have that capability. And that is why I do this show. I am blessed to have met so many amazing, superb women. Superb women are women who are comfortable in their own skin, who have taken the time to step back, to be first, and then do. They've let go of that superwoman role, which, let me tell you, from personal experience, is unsustainable. It just doesn't work. And that is all about doing, everything about outside of yourself. Superb women start with themselves, and then they do. And the things they do are amazing. And in the process, they're putting out amazing, powerful, positive energy that all of us can use. So enough about that. Let's meet a superb woman. So our guest today is Gwenn Bogart. Now, Gwenn and I just met for the first time on the air just before this started, but how we came to meet is an interesting story. Gwenn's husband, Dave, and I went to college together. And a few years ago, I think through the magic of Facebook, we reconnected. And when he was in the area, we got together. And he started telling me about his fiance. And the stories he was telling me, I just could not believe this was a real person, because this is what Gwenn has done. Gwenn started off as an equestrian. She then has had a career in fly fishing. She started a charity to help women with breast cancer to recover through fly fishing. And now she lives, oh yes, she's a pilot, I forgot that. And now she and David live in Wasilla, Alaska. And she is a participant and has been a participant in the Iditarod dog race. Unbelievable. So Gwenn, welcome so much to the show.
Thank you, Janet. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm so thrilled you could join us. So Gwenn, as I said, I told a little bit about your story, but tell us, how did all of this come about? How did you grew up in Vermont and you started off working with horses, being an equestrian. How did you get over to Alaska and doing the Iditarod?
Well, as you've announced that I am a fly fisherman. I dropped the feminist stuff. But I've been coming to Alaska for years on my own, fly fishing, visiting some friends that own a lodge out in the Dillingham area of Alaska. It's north and to the west, on the west coast, more towards the Bering Sea. And love Alaska in the summer. Well, they urged me to come and watch the Iditarod. So finally I did in 2009. And ironically, as my children were growing up, my two girls, I used to read them stories about the Iditarod, and never, ever in a million years did I ever think or even dream that I would be where I am today, participating in it and training for it now again. So I went on this trip to watch the Iditarod in 2009, and I become fascinated with all of it. The relationship with the animals, mostly, that was what intrigued me. And then, and that's where I met Dave, my now husband. And it was kind of the deal that when he asked me if I would marry him, I said, well, I really do want to do the Iditarod, you know, so. Oh boy, he's just great. He's so supportive. But anyway, that's kind of how the short version of how it came to be, how I got interested in doing the Iditarod, learning how to mush dogs.
Wow. Wow. I can't even fathom it. So for those viewers out there who aren't familiar with the complexity and what the whole Iditarod race is all about, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, the Iditarod is over 1,000 miles long. It runs from Willow, Alaska, all the way through the very harsh and rough terrain of the interior, then north out to the Bering Sea, to Nome. Mother Nature is probably the biggest and foremost challenge, followed by the terrain and all of the things that happen trying to manage a team of 16 Alaskan Huskies, staying warm, staying upright, and taking care of yourself, and then being able to take care of that many dogs. It's really been a learning process how to do all of that and plus survive the very harsh cold temperatures. So learning how to take care of the dogs, learning what works with them, because they're not pets. They really are, they're athletes, and they're very different than your pet. I have to say something here. A lot of people feel that it's cruel to these dogs, to put them in a harness and make them run. Well, you can't make a dog run, no more than you can make a golden retriever or a Labrador fetch a ball. But it's on their DNA. They just want to do it. And when people question it, I just invite them to come and see what the dogs do. Their natural ability, their natural love, their natural everything in them, their DNA says pull in that harness. And when you see the exuberance that they show, that they want to do, it's all they want to do, and they just love it. Do they get tired? Absolutely. We rest them. We feed them the best foods. They get the best care. But again, they're athletes. They may look skinny to some people, but you know, you watch Ninja Warrior on television. Now, some of those young athletes, they look skinny, but they are so fit. I mean, they're just muscle and tendon. So, you know, the dogs are the superstars. They're the main focus. That's what it's all about. And my relationship with them is just, there's nothing like it. To watch them, you know, all through the months and training, and then how well they do, and you know, they look to you for all the trust. You know, you might say, well, okay, we have to go through that big overflow, and they look at you like, you know, we don't really want to do. You'd say, well, that's what we're doing, you know, so all right, Mom, we'll go. It takes a long time to get that trust with them, and it's, when it happens, it's fantastic.
Gwen, I'm assuming that your work with horses has kind of helped you in getting acclimated with the dogs as well. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. But you know, that being said, I'm very challenged on how to articulate it. It's a very intuitive thing, you know, to look at a horse or to look at a dog and be able to judge their way of going, their body language. It's a flick of an ear or a look over the shoulder back at me in the harness. It's just after you've spent so many hours with them, you really get to know. It's just a sixth sense about, you know, they're not moving quite right. That's not their regular way of going. And so it's just, it's just a sense thing. I mean, beyond the normal, oh, wow, that dog's really limping, or that horse is really lame, or, it's just, has the dog eaten all its food? Because it normally wolfs it down. Well, it didn't wolf it down. It ate it. But, there's so much to it. And I don't even profess to know. I'm such a rookie. I'm a rookie. And that's what rookies, people are called when they have never run the Iditarod. You could have run dogs your whole life and raced all over the world. But if you have not run the Iditarod, you're a rookie. That's why I call myself a rookie's rookie, because, I've learned so much, but my gosh, you never stop learning, as in everything in life.
Right. Well, that kind of brings me to my next question. So, I can see myself going and enjoying seeing the Iditarod, but I don't see myself then wanting to do the Iditarod. So what is it with you that you think makes you want to do these things? Because that's a huge commitment.
Okay. What makes me want to do these challenges is that then I love the challenge, because then regular life is just so wonderful. It makes everything, the colors, more vibrant. It makes my emotions just that much richer. It's like weaving gold thread through the tapestry of your life. It's just phenomenal. And I do it just for myself because it feels so good. It's a crazy thing. I've always been, I used to do technical rock climbing in the gunks of New Paltz, New York. Why did I do that? Just when you get done with a challenge, everything else is just sparkly, it just is wonderful. So I guess it's not adrenaline so much, it's just setting a goal for myself, and no matter how small a goal is or how big it is, I love to reach a goal, even if it is, gosh, I have a weight issue, in the winter when I'm training, it just falls off. I eat everything I want to eat, junk, everything is terrible. Then the season stops, I'm still eating, and I put 30 pounds on, my gosh. So then, I get lazy. I allow myself a little vacation, and then I've got to get back on my bike or back on the walking thing. And, a few miles is a challenge. So I go, ugh, I'm such a slug, but just one foot in front of the other, and you just keep building, and pretty soon you see the success and the progress, and you have to just have that faith in yourself that I can do it, and little goals, they're stepping stones to a bigger goal. Set yourself little goals. You reach one step, then the other, and focus on the little step. Don't focus on that big one out there, because it's too darn overwhelming. If you look at it that way, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here. I'm never going to make it to there.
Right.
How will I ever do that? You can, but don't focus on that, right? Just the little steps.
Fabulous. Great advice. Great advice. So you seem like someone, Gwen, that has been comfortable in your own skin for a long time. Did you ever, I talk about the shoulds, and so many of us, me, lived my life according to shoulds, which contain a lot of guilt and bad feelings. So how about you? Did you have shoulds in your life that you had to learn to let go of?
Oh, yeah. I've felt like I should do everything for everyone else, despite, well, this is going to cut my time short, and then I won't be able to do this, this, and this, or, well, it's better that the other person feels better, so I really should be doing this or caretaking them, and then what would happen is I would feel empty, or I would feel resentful, or, it's like the old saying, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. Well, you got to take care of you first. Take that time, then go take care of, your your animals, your kids, your husband, your, you know, whatever that priority, that list is. But really nurture yourself and take care of you. And I mean, that's more, you know, easier said than done, because lots of times we don't know what that is. But to see if you can focus on nourishing your own soul and doing for yourself, and then, you know, go and help others. So that's kind of been my thing. And, you know, it's a balance. You know, I think if you can balance it, then, you know, the whole guilt thing is, to me, that is a man-made emotion, not like man versus woman, but it's not fear. It's not hunger.
Right.
It's not being cold or warm, you know, those types of things. Guilt is something that we learn. It's not innate. So push it off the plate. I don't have time for that. No way, you know?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I was just thinking as you were talking that, and you had alluded to some of it, but doing the Iditarod last year, and you had mentioned this, that you were a participant in it, but then you were forced because of circumstances to withdraw. But there had to have been so many life lessons that you learned, not only just from the training, but the actual race itself. Do you have any that come to mind?
Well, yeah, lots. You know, the big goal was the Iditarod, you know, the Iditarod. So it was interesting that, to me, I didn't define that. You know, is it that I want to finish the Iditarod? Is it that I want to just, you know, at least I can get to the starting line? You know, and it's said amongst people who are in the world of the race and mushing dogs, just getting to the starting line is a race or a feat in itself. And I will say that is absolutely true. So, you know, when I was feeling
in what way is that true?
I'm sorry?
In what way is that true?
Well, it is such a grueling time to get all the training in. Like, you run with your dogs from the middle of August, dryland training, into the winter, and you put about 3,000 miles of training on the dogs and yourself, all that time spent. So many things go wrong. There's so much struggle in getting the provisions to feed the team. You know, sometimes the feed store runs out, and it's just, there's so many hours sleepless, you know, sleep deprived, cold, you know, just dealing with sick dogs, injured dogs, yourself getting sick, injured. It is an energy zapper. So keeping yourself up and positive, you have to be really positive around the dogs. If you're not, they sense it. And that did happen to me on the race. But, you know, it's just a challenge every day, every day. And so the fact that you can get through all the hurdles, you can problem solve all of the problems that arise, and you get yourself to the starting line. It's like, man, you know, and you're glad to get out on the trail and leave all the chaos and the hecticness behind. You don't have to answer the phone. You don't have to read emails. You don't, you know, all of that stuff. Husband saying, you know, gee, why didn't you give me a kiss? You know, la, 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 la. All the noise stops, and you're out there with just your dogs, and you can focus on it. So, and I, you know, I didn't realize it until I went through it. And now I say, oh my goodness, you know, I get it. I really get it. So, you know, the disappointment of having to withdraw, I had, you know, again, it's circumstances beyond my control on some levels. There were some things that had I known better, had I learned more, had I asked the questions, I didn't even know the questions to ask. So, you know, and things that happen out of your control, 60 degrees below zero, I'd never had that. You get into a situation like that. We've had warm weather in Alaska, never had the opportunity to train in that kind of environment. things happen with that, you just don't know it. You know, it's just a whole nother ball of wax. So heck, you know, so I had to withdraw because, I mean, that was one element of my decision and why I ran into the problems I did. But, you know, it's okay. It really is okay. I didn't finish. Hey, I tried. You know, you don't fail if you try. You just got to try. And if you can't do it, it's not a failure. You tried, you know. You say, okay, so if you want to try again, you reevaluate, make lists. I find that making pros and cons lists are that help me so much when I have to make these big decisions. And, you know, I'm going to try again. If I make it to the finish line, oh my gosh, that would be gravy of my life. But so much can go wrong, and I'm going to give it one more shot. And, you know, just again, making it to the starting line is fantastic. You know, I go around and you know, traveling around, and you know, I was beating up myself for having to withdraw. And my sweet husband brought me to Hawaii to thaw me out from all the frostbite and cold. And we were in a bar or something, and I'm looking around, I go, gee, honey, I bet you no one here's even tried to run the Iditarod. Because it just kind of was clicking in, because I was really beating myself up. And, you know, he laughed at me or with me, you know. And so I'm beginning to say, okay, well, I said, I'm never going to do that again. Well, yeah, changed my mind, you know, and said, sweetie, what would you say if I said I really wanted to try again? He said, I'd try to talk you out of it. But he never did try to talk me out of it. So he's, you know, he's a very important person in my life. He's been so supportive of me, and he's probably one that's influenced me the most, because he's really been like, I know you can do it. It's just been great. He's given me a lot of support. So
that's so nice. Well, speaking of that, you know, I always talk about how you know, it takes a village. You can't do this by ourselves. So besides Dave, is there anyone else that's been influential in your life in helping you get where you are?
Yes, I have a girlfriend. Her name is Sue Mead, and she is a photojournalist in the automotive industry, and has been doing that for a long, long time. And she races trucks and cars off-road. And when she turned 60 years old, she raced in the Dakar, which is like the Olympics of four-wheel driving off-road.
Wow.
And she not only completed it, but won her class.
Oh, wow.
In a man's world. And she just inspired me so much, you know, that whether, you know, to do something in your life that, you know, maybe it's a punctuation point for you in your life, and it doesn't have to be one of these crazy wild things like Sue or me, what I'm doing, but, you know, something that you just can feel proud of, you know, whether it's, you know, wow, that's that great quilt I could make, or I've learned to knit, or, you know, I mean, I love it when I can finish a knitting project and go, wow, I'm so psyched. Just, you know, just to find somebody that you admire and get inspiration from that. Pottery, sewing, fishing, gardening, cooking, anything, you know, I mean, just there's so much out in the world to do that that feeds your soul, makes you feel strong and good about yourself.
That's beautiful. So tell me a little bit about how gratitude works in your life. I mean, you seem to be a very up person. How does gratitude figure into that?
I think that my involvement with Casting for Recovery and empathy, sympathy, and understanding of others who have it so much worse. You know, I constantly am grateful for my health and people in my life. I'm try even when I'm, feeling sorry for myself. And I allow that, by the way. You have to allow yourself to feel sorry for yourself. You have to allow yourself a grieving process of, grieving for whatever it is you may have lost or you didn't live up to your own expectation. I think the only way you can get to the other side of that is to just allow yourself to walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, feel sorry for yourself. Go ahead and cry. Go ahead and be weak, or whatever you want to call it, vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, like this huge refugee problem that we have now in the world. How lucky are we? Oh my gosh. We're so lucky. I have a home. I have food. I have shelter. I do have my health, I think, at the moment. But, I try to imagine what it would be like to be given that your doctor tells you you're terminally ill. And I feel most badly for those people that are going to be left behind, my kids, try to give to them to say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're great, and just being thankful for the things that we have.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from. I don't know how you cultivate it. I'm really lucky to have that in me, I guess. And, gosh, I get down. Certainly I get down. But that seems to percolate back up again, that gratitude. And I also believe in the law of positive attraction.
Mm-hmm.
If you're up and you're good, and man, what a difference it makes. The minute I start feeling grumpy, some bad stuff happens. I go, oh boy, here we go. Better switch that around because that's not working. It's not working.
Right. Right. Well, Gwenn, I so admire your tenacity, your willingness to take risks, your willingness to fail, and your willingness to get back up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. They should do a song like that. But so tell me, what's next for you?
Well, I am going to try the Iditarod one more time. So right now I have a space, a gap year, if you will, where I'm going to see my kids more. I'm going to have lunch with some friends. When I'm training dogs, I've no time for any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm taking, tomorrow I start a watercolor painting class. I've always wanted to do that. It's 5 days long. So, I'm just trying to do all these things that, I'm lucky that I can find the time. I don't have to work. But, I am going to help people run their dogs, get some runner time this winter to keep a hand in it. Then more long range. So, I'll go through the whole process again of another, not this year, but the following. Everything goes according to plan. Try the Iditarod again. And then after that, if I finish or if I don't finish or whatever, I want to work on a memoir-esque book of just lots of different chapters of my life. And I don't know, we'll see. I enjoy writing. It's kind of like, I liken it to word sculpting. You start with this chunk and you just chop away and you shine it and smooth the edges and try to tell a lot with as few words as you can. And so that's something, and just enjoy my husband and my kids and hopefully my health. Yeah. Wonderful. And take it a little more easy.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, I wish you all the best this year in all that you do and into next year. And I know we'll stay tuned for updates as far as your training and the race goes. So thank you so much, Gwenn, for being a part of the show today.
Thank you. I really appreciate being able to talk about this stuff that I don't know, I just sometimes wish I could wrap them up, these little gems that it's been hard work for me to get to the point where I feel like I can just stick junk in a balloon and let it go, or put it in a jar and put the lid on and put it on the shelf and say, you know what, just don't even look at that. Deal with that another day or another year. It's been freeing. And if I can help anybody else with that, that sweets me. You know, it's all good stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for joining us this week on Superb Woman Sundays at 7. Next week, we'll have another fabulous Superb Woman. And in the meantime, you'll see a slide at the end of this video, a couple of slides, one on how to find out more about Gwenn, and one about our new online community called The Tribe. As I said, we cannot do this by ourselves. And so we've created an online community for women to be able to be there for each other, to support each other, to lift each other up, to inspire each other, to ask for help. Check it out. Join us. Would love to have you be a part of my tribe. So have a fabulous week. Until next week, be superb. Bye.